Hi. This is a short lesson on social, moral, and economic issues and texts listened to. A lesson in Grade 8 English. The main objective of this lesson is to make every learner determine social, moral, and economic issues discussed in texts listened to. Let's get started. First, let us define these important terms. Issues. Issues are important topics or problems for debate or discussion. Social issue. It is any problem that influences many citizens within a society. Moral issue. A subject related to beliefs about what is right or wrong. Economic issue. It is anything concerned with the organization of the money, industry, and trade of a country, region, or society. These are some of the most current issues in our country today. Being a third world country. Limited access to education. Deprivation of basic needs. Ignorance. Street children. Rapid population growth. AIDS. Prostitution. Drug dependency. Unending drug war. Political killings, threats, and harassments. Freedom of media. Crime. Graft and corruption. Abortion. Extramarital affairs. Premarital sex. Divorce. Gender issues. Gambling. Alcohol use. Poverty. Income inequality. Poor healthcare and nutrition. Environmental degradation. Unemployment. COVID-19 pandemic. Here are some examples of texts presenting these issues. Determine which issue is discussed in each text. The annual rate on this issue in 2020 reached a record high 10.3% versus the 5.1% in 2019. This is equivalent to 4.5 million Filipinos who do not have jobs, but are looking for one. The answer here is unemployment. Despite being a middle-income country with sufficient resources to support children's education, many Filipino children miss out on opportunities to learn. It discusses the limited access to education of our school children. The Philippines has the second highest rate of teenage pregnancy in Southeast Asia, according to a 2019 global report. An estimated 538 babies are born to Filipino teenage mothers every single day in 2017, the Philippine Statistics Authority reported. It tells us something about premarital sex. Despite advances in reproductive health law, many Filipino women experience unintended pregnancies and many of them undergo unsafe procedures of ending these pregnancies. This is about abortion. According to the Philippine National Police, PNP Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management, theft, physical assault, and robbery were among the most common crimes reported to local authorities in 2019. This is about crime. These social issues are also discussed in literary works such as poetry, short stories, plays, and others. This last example is an excerpt from Carlos Bulason's short story, My Father Goes to Court. When I was 4, I lived with my mother and brothers and sisters in a small town on the island of Luzon. Father's farm had been destroyed in 1918 by one of our sudden Philippine floods, so for several years afterward we all lived in the town, though he preferred living in the country. We had a next-door neighbor, a very rich man, whose sons and daughters seldom came out of the house. While we boys and girls played sand in the sun, his children stayed inside and kept the windows closed. His house was so tall that his children could look in the windows of our house and watch us as we played, or slept, or ate, when there was any food in the house to eat. This story discusses issues on poverty or the disparity between rich and poor. So, in general, we can say that social, moral, and economic issues are present in some texts we read and listen to. Let us have this short oral quiz. Listen to the following audio recordings. Determine the social, moral, an economic issue in each text listened to. The Philippine government is expecting jobs to come back in 2021, but also admits that millions of Filipinos who have slipped into poverty due to the coronavirus pandemic will remain poor next year. Presently, the assassination of journalists is one of the most problematic issues of free expression in the Philippines, a problem that has been ongoing since 1986. The Philippine Health Insurance Corporation or PhilHealth said the 15 billion pesos believed by some to have been pocketed by certain individuals within the agency were used by hospitals in the government's COVID-19 response. In 2010-2011, the wealth of the richest families in the Philippines increased for that year. Thus, the benefits of this economic growth has not yet trickled down to the poorer segments of the population, as seen with the malnutrition and poverty that continue to plague the country despite the fact that the economy seems to be growing. Of over 12,000 deaths, mostly among the urban poor, at least 2,555 of the killings have been attributed to the Philippine National Police since the campaign against the illegal drugs has started in 2016. The answers are: Number 1, poverty or COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2, freedom of media. Number 3, graft and corruption. Number 4, income inequality. Number 5, drug war. That ends our short lesson. I hope that you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching. If you like more of these kinds of stuff, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and share this to your friends. This is Sir Lino.